Yeah.
I love when that record button gets hit. That's when I feel like I'm in my element. And she'll even admit now, back then, she thought, golf, what the hell? Like, it's not like she had an imprint of what golf is. I'd never think again, 7, 8 years ago, would I be staying at Robbie Williams' house and playing golf with him.
Yeah.
There was the Swilcan Bridge burn, only 30 yards in front of me. I'm thinking, don't dunk it in there. Just Tiger it.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, anything with Tiger.
He'd
quit on the spot if I didn't invite him.
You have to refer to my notes a couple of occasions.
It's fine.
Okay. Right, Rick, so the idea of the interview is I'm sort of wanting to pick up the story from the last time that we sat down.
Okay.
It was Trafford Golf Centre.
Yeah.
It was spring, I think it was April 2015.
Okay.
And I read over the feature, right? Now, April 2015, you and Pete together had combined subscribers on YouTube of 75,000. You're now at 2.4 million.
Yeah, it's changed a bit, hasn't it?
Well, if I'd have said that to you, in what, 7 years' time, you'd be at that level. What would you have said, do you think, back then?
Well, I wouldn't have believed you. I think it was very difficult, and it still probably is now, to pick a number of what's the threshold, what's the ceiling.
Yeah.
And certainly back then, 7 years ago, because I'm not sure what the biggest channel was. It was either Me and My Golf or Mark Crossfield at the time. And they were on numbers bigger than us, or bigger than me. Obviously, me and P had separate channels and still have. But it was like, what's the number? Is it 200,000? Is it 500,000? Is it 1 million? I almost wouldn't allow myself to dream that there would be 1 million subscribers out there. Now I think sat here at knocking on the door, hopefully by the end of the year to get to 2.5 million, you think, what the hell? What's the possibility?
Yeah.
Is there 5 million out there? In 7 years, if we sit down again, what could be the number then? It's really exciting.
Yeah. What have been the key moments, do you think, over those last 7 years? What have been the kind of the big things that have helped you to get to the point where you're at that sort of level?
It's sometimes quite hard to identify from your own standpoint, but I feel like we've always continued to evolve. I think that's the big thing in the content. Like the content 7 years ago is very different to the content now.
Yeah.
And the content next year will be different to the content this year. So we always try and evolve it. I've strengthened the team. We're up to 9 members of staff now. And, I couldn't do it without them. I'd be killing myself.
Yeah.
Back in the day, 7 years ago, I was probably a one-man band then. Maybe I had my first videographer then, actually, an editor. Now I look at it and think, well, actually, we've got a full team now. It's a full production team. And, taking on the right members of staff, that's been instrumental. Took on a Guy just over 5 years ago.
Guy, just over
just
there,
in the background. And taking on more editors, more skilled people. There's a really famous YouTuber called MKBHD, Marquez Brownlee. He's a tech reviewer. And he summarises it really well. He said at the start, when you first start, you're like an octopus with 8 arms. And you're trying to do everything. But you're not very good at everything. So over time, you start to chop an arm off. And you give it to someone who's a more expert in that field. Yeah. So for example, I chopped an arm off from editing. I don't know how to edit. People are better than me. I chopped an arm off for videography. I chopped an arm off for content ideas and creation. Okay. So I think over time now, I know what I feel like I'm good at, and allow other people who are much better than me do the job that they're really good at, that enhances the whole product, really.
But how important is that? Because the videos still have that kind of organic feel of like, we are following you around and it's not overproduced and it's not kind of, how is that an important part of the whole thing?
Big time. Yeah. I love making mistakes and leaving them in, and not leaving them in, that's just natural. It's what happens. If I hit a terrible shot, we keep a terrible shot in. And if I fluff a line or I don't quite deliver it how I want to, it's okay. I don't want it to be polished. I don't want some fancy ND filter and a fancy, color grading that makes it look less relatable. It almost makes it look like there's a barrier between the viewer and the video. Yeah. I do want it to have that nice natural feel. Still want to up the production, because that's really key, because YouTube's got so much bigger in there. You can't have bad production now. Yeah. You can't have bad videos, or you can't have bad sound, and you can't, all of those things are important. So it's just been an evolution, really. But the big thing we've always stuck round, it's certainly my kind of motto, I would say, in life to some degrees, is innovate or die. And I feel like each year I've just tried to keep innovating, doing things that are different or no one's done before, enhancing the things that we used to do, and not being too guided by the audience.
Okay, go on.
I think sometimes the audience, I think if the audience could dictate what the content would be, I'd probably still be at Trafford Centre making coaching videos and doing club reviews, where it's like, well, actually, we're going to try and give the audience content they didn't know they wanted.
Right. Okay.
You know, whether it's time with Tour Pros, or whether it's, you know, doing this Break 75 series, or whether it's testing these illegal golf clubs. You know, the audience wouldn't have known that was something they wanted. I think it's a quote that Steve Jobs did for Apple. You know, give the world what they didn't know they wanted, and so that's what we're trying to do in golf YouTube content, really. In a quite a deep way.
No, but what about collaborations as well? You've had so many cool different collaborations with different types of people, from people who are very much a part of the game to people who are very much not part of the game. What have been the ones that you've enjoyed, the collaborations that you like? That's something totally different. Didn't expect to be stood here with this person.
Well, there's a number of people, you know, going back to one of the biggest YouTube channels in the world, Dude Perfect, the biggest sports YouTube channel in the world, 40 million subscribers. Like, you know, they are literally at the top of their game. I've managed to do videos with those guys, with Robbie Williams, like, not to name drop, but I mean, that's an odd, you know, I'd never think again, 7-8 years ago, would I be staying at Robbie Williams' house and playing golf with him? But he desperately wanting to film a video with me. I didn't even take my video stuff the first time, because I didn't think, I won't make a video. And then he's invited me down again, said, we need to make a video. I'm like, okay. And Richard Hammond we had on recently. Like, Richard Hammond, you know, again, from someone who almost has been quite openly how much he's hated golf, to have him on a golf YouTube video, and then to be on his channel as well, doing a really fun golf challenge. You know, and then there's other people in the kind of the podcast world that we've had on. So like, whether it be Bryson DeChambeau, or whether it be Victor Hovland, or Martin Borgmeier, who's the world long drive champion, or, you know, some of the other YouTubers that are out in the world now, like the good lads over in America who are killing it. I've always been open to collaborations, and I feel like
I remember that from our first meeting, actually. You telling us that part of the reason that you got past that bit of like, why, you know, I remember there was a comment in there, it was like, you started doing it, and then Pete started doing it, and you were sort of looking at Pete going, oh, I see you're doing it as well. And then you decided, actually, maybe we're better off kind of working a bit more together.
I've never had an issue with collaborating with different content creators, as long as it's just good content. Like, that's the thing, as long as it's really solid, great content. And I'm sure I've probably missed a handful of names out there. Is there anyone that I've really missed out on that list? Oh yeah,
just Adam
Sorry,
Scott.
Adam Scott, Lee Westwood, Tommy Fleetwood, Sir Nick Faldo. You know, it's Tom Watson. Tom Watson. It's been a mix of people in the golf YouTube world, people in what would be outside of golf but in the mainstream media, and then really high profile people in the world of golf. You know, and I think the audience seemed to really, really love it, because it's like, oh God, that's like Rick, the lad from, you know, Bolton. He's now hitting shots off the roof of the Old Course Hotel down to 17th green. It's it's things like, playing the Old Course in reverse with Tom Watson, or I actually played the Old Course in reverse with Min Woo Lee as well. So it's like really just cool opportunities. And I think sometimes it's probably chats like this, or maybe in 20, 30 years when I sit down and maybe I've retired, I'll look back at it and go, I did some pretty cool stuff. I did some pretty cool stuff back then, didn't I? I think sometimes when you're living in it, you don't quite fully appreciate it, because the next thing's coming up, or the next project, or the next collaboration, or something exciting. So I look forward to in a few years to sit down and everything's documented, everything's on video. I can sit back and watch and probably cringe at how bad it was, because hopefully again we're at a different level in our YouTube journey, to go, that was pretty cool.
So where does YouTube fit in the kind of the whole range of things that you want to be involved in, that you want to do? Is YouTube very much the number one thing and always will be, or the non-YouTube stuff? We've seen you know, at the Open doing other stuff outside of YouTube. Where does it all sort of fit together?
YouTube is the number one. It's the driver of the ship. It's the thing that probably excites me the most still. As much as we do have many different assets to the business now, whether it's the podcast or the Facebook page or other social media or presenting work, for me, YouTube is what started it all. And I still think there's huge opportunity for growth. Yeah. And that's a crazy thing to say. But, you know, you read these stats where there's 65 million golfers in the world. Well, we're only chatting to a small percentage at the moment in the grand scheme of things, which is crazy. I have got other dreams and ambitions I want to do outside of the media world, whether it's, you know, facilities or whether it's golf courses or whether it's setting up, you know, the biggest amateur golf tour, or whether it's setting up the biggest way of getting people into golf, kids getting into golf, or, you know, I've got big dreams and ambitions around that, which will coincide with what we're doing on social media, but still YouTube is the number one platform, and what we put currently at the moment at still 80% of our time into, really.
Watch this space, I think. I wanted to ask you about the reviews channel. I know you've spoken about it on your own, but just give us why did you decide to set up another YouTube channel and focus it on club reviews?
The number one thing, I still love testing products. You know, I get excited about new product that comes out. And I'm sure you guys do. Yeah. You know, you guys obviously review products, you know, from every single brand, from every different asset. And I thoroughly still want to review the next set of irons or driver or wedges or putters or whatever it may be. I think the challenge where we've come to at the moment is the main channel. We're really trying to specialize ourselves on standout content.
Right, okay.
Content that makes people go, wow, that was good, that was cool. I really remember that. And we'll still feature reviews on the main channel.
Okay.
So some of the flagship drivers,
sure.
So like TaylorMade and Callaways and Ping drivers, etc., will still feature on the main channel because there's such an appetite for that. Yeah, we get sent a lot of product, and there is a lot of product that gets released every year.
Yeah.
And I still want an avenue and a space to be able to review that product. Not too dissimilar to how I used to do it even in this room all those years ago.
Yeah.
Where, you know, I still love the thought and the opinion to be able to give my information and my feedback and my critique about a new set of clubs. And I think therefore I still want to be known as a club reviewer.
Okay.
And that's probably got lost a little bit over the last few years because I don't do it as often.
Yeah.
So with this new channel, we can specify just all club reviews that are brand new clubs that have come out, whether it's irons, wedges, drivers, whatever it may be. We've got a platform where they can all sit. So if people still want club reviews, there you go. You can have that channel. You know what you're getting with that channel.
Yeah.
But come to the main channel for some other bits of variety of content as well.
Are you going to be able to fit it all in?
Yeah. Yeah. There's way more time we can shoot.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like we've just extended the team even further. We've just taken on some more videographers because the challenge we have sometimes we're getting a bottleneck where when things are getting edited, we've got nobody to shoot content.
Right. Okay.
So we're trying to streamline the process now where we can shoot more content, maybe more in bulk and maybe more in advance, and then it can get edited as we go along.
Yeah.
Which will free me up a little bit as well to actually do other projects that I want to do. But we've certainly got time.
Yeah.
And I'm still 1,000,000% passionate about it, and what gets me up every day. My most enjoyable part of creating what I do in a day-to-day is making videos.
Yeah.
I love when that record button gets hit. That's when I feel like I'm in my element. So the more I can do that, I don't want to be doing emails and boring stuff like that. I hate any of that. I hate admin. I hate any of the back office stuff. But get me in front of a camera, and that's where I feel like that's my strength, and that's where I feel like I enjoy what I do the most, really.
Yeah. And where does coaching fit in? Is coaching now, there's just no time for coaching to fit in as part of it? Or do you want to still be involved in coaching somehow? It feels like something's got to give, right? I don't know.
I would still say, and stats I think would prove this, that I'm probably still the most watched golf coach on the planet.
Yeah.
And hopefully I still give a lot of my coaching videos that I've done over the last 10 years are still relevant.
Yeah.
You know, they've not changed. They've not aged. You know, even coaching videos we did 6-7 years ago now still get hundreds of thousands of views every single year. Because we did well back then to shoot it in a way that would last.
Yeah.
You know, we wanted it to be evergreen content, and it still is. Coaching videos will still be a part of the channel, and we've got some exciting ones coming next year, and I still want to be able to create I still want to be known as a golf coach as well. Like that's my passion. That's really why I got into YouTube. You'll know that story. And you know, that's what I still see myself as. I still see myself as well, I wear many different hats, but I still see myself as a PGA golf professional, a coach. In-person coaching is the thing that I had to give, which is a shame. And the last place I actually coached was in this room in 2020 in person.
Do you miss that?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do. And I've had a couple of opportunities, like even coaching Richard Hammond on the channel recently. And it's things like that you go, you know, I really like this. And I think I'm really good at it and I really enjoy it and I see results. And I think the main reason why I see results is a lot of the students that come to me trust what I say.
Right, yeah.
Already, there's not that barrier. So that really helps.
Where do you feel about where golf sits in relation to other sports and how it's grabbing people's attention and the way in which people are interacting with it?
I think that an easy answer to that is golf has become cool. And I don't think it ever was. And I think over the last 10 years, but maybe even longer, it's becoming cool. I remember I met my wife 15 years ago and when I was chatting her up and, you know, trying to get things going, she asked, what do I do? And I said, I'm a golf pro. I was an assistant pro at the time and she like kind of rolled her eyes. And when I actually ended up telling her what I did as a living, I work in a pro shop selling chocolate bars and drinks, she even more kind of was like, what the hell? And she'll even admit now, back then, she thought, golf, what the hell? Like, it's not like she had an imprint of what golf is. It was flat caps, it was old men, it was pipes, it was plus fours, it was everything that golf isn't.
Yeah.
But that was her perspective of it. I speak to her now and I speak to her friends and now I'll introduce myself as a golf pro, even to people who don't know me from social media. And it's like, oh wow, golf. Like, and they have a different opinion of it.
Yeah.
Like they know it's now a lot cooler. You're getting celebrities getting into golf. Like some of the biggest names in sports outside of golf are into golf.
Yeah.
Some of the big Hollywood stars are into golf. Some pop stars and etc. are into golf. And all of them posting it on their social media and everything else. It's made golf cool.
Yeah.
Like golf fashion's different. We're both sat here wearing hoodies.
Wouldn't have been sat here when we did that interview 7 years ago.
Well, I think you're in a shirt and tie and a suit, if I remember from memory. But, you know, I think all those things that have made golf feel traditional and stuck in the past, they're all getting banished.
Yeah.
Places like this, where you can come down we're down at Prairie Sports Village now, we're driving range where you can go and whack some shots on Top Trace and you can have a beer and you can grab some food and you can hang out with your friends. It's in a different space. It's in a totally different avenue. And as much as I've got no probably hard-hitting facts on this, and I'm sure you will have more, I've noticed from the type of people who come and spot me and they've watched the videos, it's a different
type of crowd.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different.
How do we make the most of that opportunity then, as a golf industry?
I think there's a massive missing gap in a pathway to get people getting onto golf courses.
Right.
There's a huge opportunity that needs to be captured.
So it's hard to take them from facilities like this, actually playing golf, putting a score together and enjoying that side of it.
Correct.
Yeah.
There's nothing in between. And I think there needs to be, and hopefully that's something that I might be able to help with in the future. But I think at the moment you'll see driving range golfers, and there are golfers who just play on the driving range.
Yeah.
They've never stepped foot on the golf course in their lives. You'll get that. And that's great. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because at least they're still into golf and participating. They'll probably say to themselves or their friends, yeah, I play golf on the driving range, but I play golf. And then you obviously have your traditional members. But between here, a driving range or a practice facility, or watching on TV or watching on YouTube, to actually getting through the door of a golf club, it's become easier, don't get me wrong. Like the barriers have started to lift at golf courses, things like no joining fees and new members incentives.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that. I think it's the actual golf element of it.
Right.
Like from a driving range to then go and play 18 holes on a golf course, it's very, very different.
Different thing, isn't it?
Totally different. Like I feel like there needs to be much smaller golf courses, a stepping stone from a driving range, whether you go to a little 9-holer that's got massive holes.
Yeah.
You know, or you've got 3 or 4 hole golf courses that are just like the normal sized holes, but you can play them easily.
Yeah.
And there's no dress code and it's you can just go and have fun.
Fun.
And that's like you know, you look around the road now and you see learner drivers, right? Yeah. And with a learner driver, you're patient. You sit behind him. You don't overtake him. You give him time.
Yeah.
We don't have that in golf.
We need a golf version of that, yeah.
Correct. We don't have that in golf. As soon as you step foot on a golf course, you seem to be you're now a golfer.
Yeah.
Where people are like, whoa, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
It's also hard. Golf is difficult, and it's quite easy to lose that fun aspect that you were just talking about quite quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, again, I go back to the metaverse. There's the amount of rounds that have been playing the metaverse at the moment are scary. Like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of rounds a month being played. Well, what are those people going to get on the golf course? Because they're not golfers.
Yeah.
How do we get those people on the golf course? How do we, you know? So it's. I'd love to give an answer, but I actually don't think there is one at the moment. I think there's a massive missing link that hopefully either the governing bodies can sort, or you know, it takes somebody with initiative, or maybe some sort of social media power that can generate these facilities. I think that's what's going to really help it.
Yeah.
I think we'll see a massive, massive change of events. I think new golf courses will need to be built if we get it right.
Yeah. So if we're sitting here in 7 years' time,
yeah.
as we mentioned earlier on, and you said I've got some big plans. From a YouTube perspective, can you give us an insight into how you're planning to change things up?
We've got to be better at creating content that is more engaging to watch. So I think at the moment, there's content we sometimes put out, and not that we don't plan it as well as we could do, but sometimes we slightly wing it. I think in the future, the plan is not to wing it as much and to be able to really put a structure together and to elevate the opportunities. So sometimes I get opportunities with tour pros. I think we do a good job. I think we could do a better job. And I think we could start to create different series. I think series have become a big aspect. So I've got my Break 75 series. I've got 2 or 3 other series I want to try and film next year as well. Because it becomes like a storyline, and you take the journey, you take the audience with you. I think YouTube, certainly over the last 7 years, has all been mainly about standout videos, like casting a net. So trying to cast the biggest net you possibly can by these big viral videos, these one-off videos that might get a couple of million views, etc. Well, they're all well and good, but how then do you bring those golfers in, those viewers in and watch every video every week, all the time? So these series have become much more powerful for us, where they'll watch it regardless. They'll watch it because they like the series, or they like the way it's presented, or the way it's been filmed, or the way it's been put together, or the opportunities, whether it's the golf courses or the locations. So it's just, for us, it's better planning, better structure, and be able to build these kind of franchise series that get people more engaged in the content. Yeah.
So Break 75 is here to stay?
Here to stay. It'll get better, it'll get bigger. We're going to travel a lot more. I've not been on a plane for 3 years. So we're going to travel a little bit more. Just start to, you know, there's very, very, very fortunate. There's a lot of beautiful golf courses in the world.
Yeah.
Like a lot. And, you know, viewers won't get a chance to play them all. They just won't, you know. So be able to showcase some of those a bit more. I've got a series I want to do next year, bucket list series, 10 golf courses, my dream golf courses. That'll be very different again. That won't be so much score related. It'll be like almost a mini documentary of going playing Pebble Beach or Augusta, if anyone's watching from Augusta, or Pine Valley or Royal Melbourne or places like that, or Cape Kidnappers in New Zealand. You know, being able to almost take the audience with you. Like I want them to feel like they're there. I want them to feel like I've also played it through you, through the way that the video was put together. So, you know, and again, I never want it to have this kind of layer of glass between the viewer and the content, really. So just trying to improve on aspects like that. But normally we try and release upwards of 100 YouTube videos a year, somewhat. I reckon next year I've already got 84 of them planned.
Really?
Which I've never done before in my life. So that's quite exciting.
Takes a bit of pressure off, actually, as well.
It's just at least a skeleton structure. It might change, and it probably will, but there's starting last year, I didn't have that idea or didn't have that planning, and with the team and with Guy and with the production team we've now got in place at you know, working for me, it's like, right, we can really elevate this and we can take it to the next level. And I want the audience to not notice these subtle changes, but I want them to look at videos in a year's time and go, oh wow, you know, they're pretty good compared to 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Wow, I didn't notice the change, but there is a difference. But that's the kind of goal, really.
Yeah, very good. Okay, Rick, some quick fire questions for you.
Okay.
What's your most viewed video on your YouTube channel? So how well do you know your YouTube channel?
It's a full bag of illegal golf clubs.
Correct. How many views?
It's in between 4 and 5. I only got 4.3.
You've underestimated there. It's 5.5.
All right. Is it?
Yeah. If you could collaborate with anyone on anything.
Tiger.
On golf.
I'm just Tiger in it.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. Anything with Tiger.
Your favourite video of yours?
Oddly enough, and it didn't absolutely. There's 2 of them that I absolutely loved. One of them was a hole-in-one challenge that I did. It was last year. It was at Portal in Cheshire. 500 golf shots trying to get a hole-in-one, and it was probably because it was the most effort I've ever put into a video physically.
Yeah.
And I don't want to ruin it, but we didn't quite get the hole-in-one. But I just loved the fact that we managed to make a video that it wasn't original. Like, this was a European Tour rip-off, effectively, and I'm happy to say that because we even said it in the video. But it was the fact that we managed to produce something that looked so good, and it was so engaging, and it was so concise. Yeah, it was like, I just thought it was a really well-rounded video.
Yeah.
And the other one I really enjoyed was we did range night a couple of.
Yes.
Oh no! I tell you what. No, even a different one to that. We went to a random driving range, and we gave £1 per yard for each how far a golfer would hit, and they got 1 shot, and it had to be on the fairway. And literally, we went to driving range. We didn't warn anyone. I went with a pocket full of money, and we went to unsuspected golfers and said, if you can hit any club in your bag, and however far you hit it in yards, I will give you the same amount in pounds. And the reaction of like people, certainly in England, they were a bit like, what?
What are you doing?
What's the catch?
Yeah.
And there wasn't a catch. I thought that was one of our most kind of fun to shoot.
Yeah.
And different again. You know, we do take inspiration from videos outside of the world of golf and try and kind of put a golf twist on it, but it's just kind of different, really.
Yeah, yeah. Your favourite video of somebody else's YouTube video?
When Dude Perfect got to play Augusta with Bryson DeChambeau.
Yeah, that was great. That was a statement piece.
Yeah,
wasn't
that was
it?
pretty good.
Yeah.
I was pretty jealous of that.
The best shot you've hit on camera?
There's probably only 2, so it's not hard. No, I'm joking. There was one years ago. I played with Pete at Northants, and I put my shot in a ditch, and this ditch shot was ridiculously impossible. I was like really 3 or 4 feet down, and no way of even being able to hit the golf shot. And somehow I managed to catch it as clean as a whistle and put it to about 2 foot and knocked it in for birdie. And then there was another one actually against Pete again at a Golf Bidder Challenge at Woburn, where it was neck and neck coming down the last. He hit it down the left in the trees. He hit this great, in fact I was 1 up, sorry, it wasn't neck and neck, I was 1 up coming down the last. I hit my tee shot right, he hit his tee shot left. He played a really, really good golf shot out the trees to about 6 foot. I was thinking, oh crap, I'm in trouble here. It's going to be a halved match. I was in the trees on the right, literally had a gap that was tiny, hit this lob wedge straight through the gap and put it to about this, and knocked it in to win the match. So there's a couple of really good ones there.
Both beating Pete.
Both beating Pete, and the other one was, and only because I was the most nervous I maybe have ever been.
Right.
When I played with Tom Watson this year at the old course at St Andrews, we played in reverse. So he teed off the first tee, and we were going to the 17th green, okay? So Tom Watson hits this tee shot, and I'm walking down the fairway, and I've now got to hit the second shot. We played better, but we played alternate shots. I've got to hit the second shot, okay? Into the 17th, off a tight links turf, with maybe 20 or 30 people watching, but more importantly, Tom Watson watching, right? And I'm thinking, oh my God, just do not, because you know, if you thin it, you're onto the road. If you push it a little bit right, you're in the road hole bunker. I was even, there was the burn, the Swilcan Bridge burn, only 30 yards in front of me. I'm thinking, don't dunk it in there. And I was only probably 120 yards away, but I just hit this absolutely perfect struck pitching wedge, I think it was. And I only put it to maybe 15 foot, but I was like, I could have retired then. I could have just gone, that's it guys, I'm off. Because I think my heart was beating so much out of my chest that I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to hit this shot. And to be able to actually execute it to a level that was respectable, probably Tom Watson thought it was crap, but at least I felt like it was respectable.
Yeah. Well, the flip side of this is, what's the worst shot that you've hit on camera?
Oh God, many. I've topped many, many, many shots. That seems to be my bad one. There's so many. Oh yeah, I played at Conway in a break 75 and a par 3, and I wasn't playing well. My head was out of it, and I hit 2 massive, massive, massive shanks on a par 3 and walked off with a 9. And it's on video, and it hurts. And yeah, there's many of my followers still remind me of it, which sometimes
which is great.
Leaves some scars. But yeah, no, it's what I like about that. It shows that it's human. It shows that I don't vouch to be an amazing player. I can put it round sometimes. Sometimes I'll shoot a million, and sometimes I'll play quite well, and that's kind of part of the story, really. That's kind of part of the journey.
Yeah.
It'd be boring if it was 600 every time. I wish it was 600 every time, but it'd be a bit more boring. Okay,
so your perfect day on the golf course, golf day, would consist of what?
Few pals. Like, I've got a group of lads who I play with who are good golfers, and we'll go out and we'll go and play some nice golf courses, have a few drinks, have some nice food. It's quite chilled. It's no cameras. It's as much as sometimes though I do feel a bit guilty if I play somewhere nice, not on cameras. I have this kind of sense of like, maybe I should be filming this. But if I've had a few beers and I've let my hair down a bit more, maybe that's not the footage that should be shown. But that's where I find myself in my element. I'm quite chilled, I'm quite relaxed, and I don't have to talk, and I can just kind of sink into the group and sink into the background.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my kind of dream day out on the golf course. Bit of sunshine, friends, playing in buggies, few beers, nice golf course. That's the kind of dream.
Yeah, sounds good. Your favourite tour pro? Now this is tricky because you've played with a lot. You will have made some friends along the way. But which would be, if you were playing tomorrow with a tour pro, who would you play with?
I'd probably play with Tommy Fleetwood.
Oh yeah.
I would say Tiger, but I don't actually know if I'd fully enjoy it. I think Tommy, I'd feel super chilled with him. Like I wouldn't feel particularly nervous. I'd feel quite chilled. He's just a nice lad. You've got a 4-ball at Augusta. Which other 3 YouTubers are you taking with you? I would take, it's a great question, the co-host from the #1 podcast in golf, Guy Charnock. I think he'd kill me if I didn't. He'd quit on the spot if I didn't invite him. I would invite Pete, because obviously we've had some great matches and challenges in the past together. And again, I think he would kill me. But I'd put a ban on cameras for him. Right. So I could video it. Okay, fine. And to be honest, it'd be a toss-up between Matt Fryer and Andy Carter. Just because they're my pals. I'd probably say, this is a good answer. I'm going to say Carter can play, Matt can caddy for me. Because the last time Matt caddied for me, I had my first ever hole-in-one. Okay. And my only ever hole-in-one. So yeah, I think that'd be a nice little group, and my five pals, people who I've worked with and people who have create content. And then the video goes on my channel. That's the terms. Be warned. That's the terms and conditions. Perfect. Rick, thank you. No problem. Thanks, Dale. Really good. Appreciate it. See you in 7 years. So 7 years. Make a date. So there you have it. That's our interview with Rick Shiels here at Prairie Sports Village. A really fascinating insight into the sort of thought process of one of the most influential people in golf. He's come an awful long way over the last 7 years. I hope you found that interview enjoyable. If you have, please do hit the like button below. But that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.